Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Morinzi. We begin with our top stories. About 2021 cholera continue to spread throughout Cameroon as 426 cases have been recorded in 8 out of 10 regions of the state, despite efforts made by the health sector to bar the way to this epidemic. He is now free after 18 months in separatist captivity. That is, the president of the Northwest House of Chiefs, who arrived to Bamenda this Friday morning to the joy of many, one day after regaining his freedom. And there are fears of further fuel price increase within the next 2 years in Cameroon, a situation which experts say rather will again negatively affect Good evening once more. He's now free after spending 18 months in separatist captivity. That is, the president of the Northwest House of Chiefs, who arrived at Bamenda this Friday morning to the region of Cameroon to finally come to an end. More on the story with our reporters Annie Collins, Annie, and Saleh Sharifa.
The president of the Northwest House of Chiefs has expressed optimism that his release from separatist fight on Yakum Kevin Shomitang II of Bambalang has spoken in Bamenda this to normal life after spending 18 months in the hands of separatist fighters.
And everybody of the Northwest region,
filled with joy, various speakers expressed thanks to God, the head of state and defense and security forces for the hitch-free operation that has finally freed the custodian of the Mbo Yakum people. By design or sheer coincidence, things have greatly evolved since Mbashi Sylvester Aliashina Rambo, junior brother to Pseudo General Nopiti, dropped his arms and being held at the B camp in Bamenda alongside his twin daughters.
Resurfacing in October 2021, cholera continued to spread across Cameroon as 426 cases have been recorded in 8 out of the 10 regions of Cameroon, despite efforts made by the health sector to bar the way against the pandemic. 18,000 cases have been recorded in almost every area of Cameroon. Our reporter on that beat is Saleh Sharifa.
As of May 30, 2023, the epidemiological situation of the situation report shows more than 18,322 notified cases and 426 deaths in 8 of the country's 10 affected regions. Only the Adamawa and Northwest regions have been spared for the time being. The center is the worst affected region, with over 100 deaths already recorded and more than 2,000 cases notified. The case fatality rate is 2.4%. According to the situation report, there has been an increase in the number of cases in the center region, making it the new epicenter of the epidemic. Despite surveillance and investigation activities, household awareness raising and case management carried out, challenges still surfaces. These include insufficient human resources for case management, poor mobilization and environmental sanitation, lack of good drinking water in these areas, and insufficient logistical and financial resources. Health officials calling for the observance of hygiene measures measures in the context of difficult access to drinking water, notorious unsanitary state, lack of urbanization, and poor land use planning. Of the 18,322 cases notified, the situation report states that 24% are classified as severe and 48.4% as moderate. Men are more affected than women, and the age group most affected is between 20 and 29, representing 26.8% of cases.
And as cholera continued to spread in some regions of Cameroon, we took interest in checking the state of public toilets in Cameroon's economic city Douala, and the findings are not good at all. Inhabitants are frustrated at the fact that Douala is lacking in a public toilet. More in the following story.
Despite all the campaigns made about improved hygienic conditions about the government of Cameroon, the contrary is visible on the field. With 8 out of Cameroon's 10 regions affected by the cholera epidemic, the situation is worsening each passing day. In Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, public toilets are almost absent, be it in administrative headquarters like Bonanjo or residential neighborhoods like Bonaprizo. The commercial hub like Aqua is not left out. One cannot find a public toilet. Many commuters are trapped when out of their homes. No, there are not enough public toilets. The few available ones are in bad shape, unfit to be used. City dwellers have to pay 100 francs CFA just to pass out in Douala. But again, the population is just so scary. In a well-structured society, government takes this position for all, taking into consideration the poor masses. With economic hardship, it's difficult for people to pay 100 francs just to pass out urine. For a normal Cameroonian, it's painful. The only alternative is for people to pass out urine and feces on the streets. When questioned on their attitude, the answer is lack of public toilets. Many have shifted the blame on councils. It's the responsibility of councils to ensure that public toilets are constructed everywhere. They should play their role and ensure that people are at ease wherever they find themselves. From Bonanjo, we move to the New Bell neighborhood, another shanty. Here, public toilets are difficult to find as one moves along the streets. The stench oozing from gutters is unbearable. Residents say such a filthy environment is a breeding ground for cholera. The only wish of the inhabitants is for councils to respect their terms of references by conscience.
Hospital, about 12 patients with obstetric fistula have seen their disgraceful situation redressed. Obstetric fistula is a hole between the birth canal and bladder that usually results in chronic leaking of urine and feces at the same time, and some 20,000 women suffer from obstetric fistula here in Cameroon. Our reporter Beatrice Ngamo has the rest of the story.
Surgical room here at the Mbarmayo District Hospital, medical personnel in a full obstetric fistula repair operation session. Their mission: to repair the hole that has fixed itself between the birth canal and bladder or rectum, or both, resulting in the patients leaking out uncontrollably urine and feces through the vagina. The women are not only exposed to frequent infections, but stigmatized, especially with the other around them. Social isolation, depression, deepening poverty, their new lifestyles. The cause of obstetric fistula is multiple. Among them, prolonged obstructed labor without access to timely, highly.
Et cette fistule également intervient chez les jeunes adolescents. Parfois, ce sont des filles qui se marient très tôt, et ce qui fait qu'elles n'ont pas encore fini leur croissance. On voit également la fistule obstétricale dans des familles pauvres à la malnutrition, ou bien parfois dans des endroits où on ne peut pas faire une césarienne d'urgence.
Despite the fact that obstetric fistula is almost entirely preventable through proper maternity care, and if it does occur, simple surgery like here can repair the situation, many don't know about the latter or cannot afford the treatment. The free repair campaign, 1 week already at the Mbarmayo District Hospital in the Central Region, is to help these patients. This far, 12 have seen their shame and fear redressed and are presently receiving medical care. The campaign runs till the 4th of this month, invitation still open.
Ceux qui vont nous écouter pourront se présenter à l'hôpital du district de Mbalmayo pour se faire réparer gratuitement.
This surgical repair and social reintegration is a global engagement of hope to the about 20,000 obstetric fistula patients in hiding here in Cameroon.
And there are fears of further fuel crisis or price increase within the next 2 years in Cameroon. If nothing is done to address the situation, a situation which experts say will again negatively affect enterprises and households. The announcement is contained in a report published by the American rating agency Fitch Ratings, saying this will be in line with the objective to gradually reduce hydrocarbon subsidies. Gladys Ambodiba completes the story for us.
It has not been an easy ride for Cameroonians ever since the prices of fuel increased in February 2023.
We have seen the transportations of goods and services increasing, the commuting cost of the employees getting into the different factories to perform their jobs. We have seen an increase, a general increase in the prices of many products.
New adjustments are expected in Cameroon in 2024 and 2025, according to the American rating agency, Fitch Agency. It says this falls in line with the objective of phasing out hydrocarbon subsidies as prescribed by the International Monetary Fund.
And one of the reasons for
However, there are fears new price hikes in fuel might worsen the inflationary situation.
If they do this, we will see a further degradation of the seemingly entrepreneurial mindsets of Cameroonians and the productivity and competitiveness of our products. As you know, Cameroon is struggling to boost its industrial sectors so that we could produce goods that are going to be traded within the African continental free trade. So by increasing the fuel prices, we are basically tripling the effect on the productive sectors of our economy.
Experts emphasize Cameroonians may have to cut down on expenditures to cope with the situation if at all fuel prices are increased.
And today marks the end of the start of 3 months holidays for nurseries and primary schools across Cameroon. This morning, pupils receive their end of course or end of year report cards from as the teachers caution them on the need to stay free from bad company during the break. Hi Sencha when visiting some schools in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. His story.
Here comes the final day for the pupils to harvest what they have sowed throughout the academic year as they receive their report booklets. The school year at the government primary school Etudi, made up of 4 groups, unfolded smoothly.
We, the teachers, also, we put in our best to see that everything went well. And before we are giving the report cards today, we had a class council. And we saw that in general we had a very good percentage of the children who passed that they were going to another class.
As they draw the curtains for the 2022-2023 academic year, the teachers are sending them home with special assignments and words of caution.
So I've given them a lot of advice. That is a time that they have to play. Normally they have gone through a 9-year program which they need to play now for the 3 months we have for holidays. But while playing, they should also remember that they have to come back again for another academic year. They should take care of themselves. We know that there is a cholera outbreak now, so they should keep cleanliness and they should obey their parents.
And just like the learners, it is a moment for the pedagogues to have some rest while planning for the next school year.
For me and for my colleagues, we are really happy because we are going to spend some time at home with our families too. But also we miss our pupils because they are the ones that they give us joy when we come to school. We are really happy seeing them. But we expect and hoping that we'll also come back and meet them again the next academic year.
And before the departure for the 3 months holidays, this Friday, June 2nd, some teachers communed with their children by sharing out snacks in their classes, a gesture that gave them smiling faces.
And the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism has urged civil society organizations to intensify the fight against hate speech in Cameroon, regretting that the phenomenon is jeopardizing the social cohesion of the country. The Musonge Commission says strives to eradicate the phenomenon must be felt by all Cameroonians in all localities. Our report on that beat is Hyson Cha.
With the growing hate speech and xenophobic utterances in Cameroon, the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism is multiplying efforts to combat the phenomenon. The Musonge Commission on June 1st in Yaoundé signed a memorandum of understanding with 14 civil society organizations to intensify the sensitization against the rising abuses and stigmatization.
As Kamasech, Bamenda, we, first of all, also have the mandate to preach against hate speech and xenophobia because we are members of the society, and if there is hate everywhere, it will also affect us in one way or the other. So this is only coming to add to what we like. You are Anglophones, you are Francophones, all of those things these are the things that the Commission is really fighting against.
The assignment to tackle the issues from the grassroots population.
This is an extension, and we are hoping that we are going to transmit the message to those other grassroots communities who have not heard. The reason why we keep the focus on grassroots communities is because we believe that they are part and parcel of the solution. And if the grassroots people are not brought up to understand that hate speech and xenophobia are killers of social integration, then it's going to continuously deteriorate the situation of people.
Not forgetting key personalities and institutions.
What we achieve, funds, as well as Jangi houses, youth groups, sporting groups, as well as the academia.
The Commission equally used the occasion to send a clarion call to all Cameroonians to desist from such bad outings, tearing the country apart.
And that report brings us to the end of the primetime newscast in the English language on Canal the International. Thanks so much for watching. But coming up next is the brief with Mathieu Fangwa. For me, it's good night.